What is IELTS? Hello, friends! Today, I am going to talk about the acronym IELTS. This is pronounced as IELTS. IELTS is the International English Language Testing System. This international standardized test is managed by 3 developers. One is the British Council, 2 is the IDP IELTS Australia, and 3 is Cambridge English Language Assessment. The purpose of IELTS is to measure the language proficiency of people who want to study or work in a country where English is used as a language of communication. There are 2 modules for this test. The first one is academic, which is suitable for anyone entering university or professional institutions. The second one is the general training, which contains topics based on general interest. And this is for work experience or for immigration purposes. You can take the test in 2 styles. They have computer-based for people who are not confident with their handwriting. You may also choose paper-based exam if you want. Your skills are tested during the exam, and these are the following: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. There are 2 main problems you will encounter, especially in the listening and the reading parts. The first one is time, which is your worst enemy. If you were given enough time, you would be able to get all the answers correctly. But the reality is that there are a lot of questions to be answered, a lot of writing to be done, but a very little time to do it. Plus, you can see tricks and logical traps all along that can make you confused. So here are the things that you need to practice. Number 1, listen carefully to hear the right answers and write them down fast. Number 2, scan through the text and deal with all the questions fast. Number 3, know and avoid the traps when you see them. Number 4, get your essay written fast. And the last one is build a speech in your head on any topic fast. Even if English is your main language, you wouldn't get a good score unless you are prepared for it. Therefore, you should practice as many times as you can. You may set aside 2 to 3 hours for your daily training before you take the test. IELTS listening tips. Hi everyone, I'm back again with another video, and this is about IELTS listening tips that would be very helpful for you when you take the exam. Are you ready to learn? Please take note that listening is a skill, not a gift. Therefore, you will be able to obtain your ideal band score if you follow these tips. Let's start with watching TV programs in English. You can train your ears through recording of the news, movie, lecture, and of course the actual IELTS listening test. You may also listen to audios. There are a lot of sample videos on YouTube. Another thing that you have to do is to enhance your vocabulary. Widen your synonyms because you can see plenty of them during the test. For example, instead of saying walk, they use on foot. Next thing to consider is to learn grammar rules. By knowing this, you will be able to understand the whole text, and you will also excel in your writing and speaking tests. Now, I will teach you how to practice listening. First is you have to listen carefully and remember what you heard. Stop the recording after each phrase. Then write down what you heard. If you didn't understand the phrase, play it in your head a couple of times like a broken record. For example, are you planning to travel by bus or train? Say it loud. Try to imitate the speaker's pronunciation. Then replay the audio, follow, and copy how the sentence is uttered. Let's go further. Here are my points to remember. Number 1. Always follow instructions. If the direction says answer with no more than 3 words, do not give more than 3 words. Please know that a or the counts as a word. Number 2. Read the questions quickly before the audio begins. You have 20 seconds to do that. Number 3. Understand which group of questions you need to answer. The recording divides questions into groups, so every time you are instructed to answer a group of 4 to 5 questions, please focus on those numbers. You have 30 seconds to read the task. Use this time to study the questions. Number 4. Underline keywords. These are words that contain the main idea of the question. They will help you guess what you will hear. It can be in a form of numbers, opening hours, names, locations, etc. Number 5. Draw a line under the question. For example, number 5, so you won't look further before it's time. You will hear a piece of passage and then you are going to answer the questions 1 to 5 as you listen. It means that you should be able to write one answer and listen to another. After that, the tape will say the numbers of questions in the next group. Just repeat the same process, including the drawing of the line. This technique is very efficient because every time you concentrate on a limited number of questions, it makes you more focused and in control. Let me give you more information about the listening test. It has 4 sections and 40 questions. There are 10 questions per section. The listening test lasts for 40 minutes. This includes 10 minutes to copy your answers onto the answer sheet. Section 1 focuses on the conversation in an everyday social situation. For example, 2 colleagues in the office or a customer and staff member in the department store. Section 2 focuses on one person speaking in an everyday social situation. Section 3 focuses on a conversation between 2 or more people in an educational or training context like tutorial and seminar. While Section 4 focuses on a lecture or talk on a topic of general academic interest. Expect to find a variety of task types and answer formats. Here are examples of the main task types. There are forms, multiple choice, short answer questions, flowchart completion, sentence completion, table completion, and labeling a diagram, plan, or map. Get ready to hear some distractors such as different voices coming from younger ones, older people, men, or women. You will also hear different accents like Australian, British, American, and Japanese. Another distraction you will encounter is the background noise you can hear from the airport, cafe, street, or university lecture hall. So you should listen carefully for the specific information like dates, places, telephone numbers, opening hours, years, and transportations. You may write them on the side of the listening booklet because you can't memorize everything. You have to answer as you listen because you will immediately forget the sentences after you have heard them due to stress, foreign language, and constant flow of information. A worst-case scenario is losing the sequence of answers, so always look at 1 or 2 questions ahead. If you have missed the answer to a question, admit it and move to the next one. I will give you some clues on how to detect the answers. They are usually pronounced louder and clearer, with repetition of a word, with the word being spelled out, or with a number dictated. So catch them as fast as you can. Notice also the spelling because in IELTS, 0 is read O. For example, 5307089. 00 is read double O instead of 00. So in this example, you will hear 5317800. In terms of letter like ZZ in the word Brazzaville is read double Z. Same goes with double L. And three numbers like 555 is read triple five. Write clearly when you transfer your answers. If an answer isn't clear on your answer sheet, you will lose the mark. However, it is better to guess than to leave an answer blank. You will not lose a mark for a wrong answer. Hello friends, I'm back with my IELTS listening tips part 2. And today I'm going to talk about the typical listening tasks that I've already mentioned in my previous video. I will show you 7 sample photos so that you will have an idea what they look like. Let's have a quick recap. We have forms, multiple choice, short answer questions, flowchart completion, sentence completion, table completion, and labeling a diagram, plan, or map. Now, I will show you the form. The instruction says complete the form below. Write no more than 2 words and or a number for each answer. Please follow the instructions. Listen carefully to the audio to catch what is missing. It could be a name, address, postcode, phone number, type of ID, date of birth, and many others. The second one is multiple choice. From the word itself, multiple means many. So you are going to choose the best answer out of the many choices. To get the correct answer, you may use true, false, not given method to eliminate all the incorrect choices. The third one is what we call the short answer questions. Again, please read the instruction carefully. You may circle some keywords so that you will be guided on what answers to write. There is also flowchart completion. This is very tricky, so you really have to pay attention to the details. In the example given, the instruction says, write no more than 2 words for each answer. Another type of listening task that might appear in the test is the sentence completion. Understanding the instruction is very important, so please follow what it says. Look at number 1. Express train leaves at. The underlined word is giving us a signal that the answer is time. So try to catch the time mentioned in the audio. Look at number 3. Number 706 bus goes to. Obviously, the answer should be a name of a place. Write down on the questionnaires the names of the places or locations mentioned, so it's easier for you to remember. But in case you forget, the best thing to do is to guess the right answer. Now let's talk about table completion. Look at the instruction. It says, write no more than 1 word and or a number for each answer. In this case, don't give many answers. Number 6 is asking for the bus cash fare. The $sign is a hint. Number 7 is looking for the time. PM is your guide. Let's have the last sample. Labeling a diagram, plan, or map. This part of the test is mind-boggling, therefore you need to focus more. The instructions state, label the plan below. Write the correct letter A to J next to questions 11 to 17. So it's like you are going to write down the letter where you can find the administration office, sports medicine clinic, bike racks, etc. It is absolutely essential to locate your starting point first. Let me give you more tips. Always check the maximum number of words allowed. Make sure you understand what you have to do. After a short introduction, the speaker on the recording tells you that you have 30 seconds to read the task. Use this time to study the questions. Use the gap fill strategy. Identify what type of word you are listening for. Is it a place, a name, a number, a noun, a verb, or an adjective. This will definitely help you find the correct answer. Next one is be aware of synonyms. For example, in this sentence, all candidates have to fill out the application form. The candidates must fill out the application form. The question is it true, false, or not given? The answer is true, because have to means must. Another example is this one. Well, you could start your return journey before 5 p.m. or later than 7:30 in the evening. 7:30 in the evening is the same as 7:30 p.m. Another advice I can give is to watch out for traps. You might hear speakers starting to say one thing and then suddenly continuing to something completely different. This is called the unexpected turn or change of mind. The rule here is the last word counts. Let's listen to this example. I will go to your shop on Sunday. No, wait. I've just remembered that it is closed on Sunday, so I will go on Monday. And the question in the test is when? The right answer is Monday. Sunday is a trap. So make sure you don't fall for it. The second trap is generalizations. You might hear the speaker gives a list of things first and then says them all in one word. Like in this example. Well, I like to swim, hike, and camp. I want to be involved in outdoor activities. And the question is, what kind of activities? The right answer is outdoor activities, not swim, hike, or camp. The third trap is explicit answer choices. For example, the tape says, this course is a must for all first-year students, excluding foreign students. And then there's a statement on the questionnaire that says, all the first-year students have to take this course. Should you answer true, false, or not given? The answer should be false because there is an exception, the foreign students. Let's go further. Please don't forget to check the grammar. Look around the sentences for clues, especially in tasks, gap fill, and sentence completion. Bad grammar means wrong answer. Here's an important tip. Answer items are often pronounced loudly and clearly. If a speaker whispers or mumbles the words, it is probably not the correct answer. And if you hear repetition and dictation of some words, that is another hint to catch the right answer. Moreover, please use your time wisely. If you lose your place completely during the listening, notice when other candidates turn over the page in their booklets. Do the same. Remember, you still have to transfer your answers to the answer sheet at the end, so spare 10 minutes for that. Also, copy answers smartly. Check spelling and basic grammar. Write the plural forms of nouns when necessary. Copy the letter of the correct answer. Don't circle it. Write just the answer, not the whole sentence. Write the symbols like decimal points for number and currency for money. And after that, check that all the answers are clear and understandable. In case you missed some questions, it is better to guess than to leave an answer blank. You will not lose a mark for a wrong answer. And of course, before I end this video, I will show you a picture of the listening answer sheet. Across your name, you will also be writing the candidate number, passport or ID number, and the country's testing code. And finally, at the back of your listening answer sheet is your reading test answer sheet. IELTS reading tips. Hello everybody! Today, I'm going to share with you some IELTS reading tips that are very useful for you. To begin with, let me tell you that the reading test comprises of 40 questions that would last for 60 minutes. Please remember this. No additional time is given to transfer your answers at the end of 60 minutes. In other words, you have to write down all your final answers directly on the reading test answer sheet. The content of the test depends on the two kinds of modules you choose to take. The first module is called the academic. It has 3 reading texts. These are texts which were taken from the magazines, journals, books, and newspapers written for a general or non-specialist audience. These texts may include diagrams, graphs, and illustrations. The second kind of module is the general training. It has 3 sections of progressively more difficult content. 2 or 3 short texts could be about public notices, advertisements, and timetables. It could also be about job descriptions, contracts and staff development, and training materials. One long text or passage might come from newspapers, magazines, and fiction and non-fiction book extracts. Now let's talk about the main task types. You will be seeing sentence completion, various kinds of matching, labeling flowcharts, or other kinds of diagram. There's also identifying the writer's claims or views and identifying information. I'll be showing you samples of these. Here is the sample of the sentence completion. This completion task is linked to a text in the test about emergency procedures on a school campus. Please read the instructions carefully. In this example, it says, choose no more than 3 words from the text for each answer. Then you have to follow that. It would be a good idea to read the sentences first and then try your best to figure out what words are missing. Your hint might be based on whether the answer is an adjective, noun, verb, or an adverb. In short, it is best also to be knowledgeable about the different word forms. Now let's talk about the various kinds of matching. This matching task is linked to a text in the test which gives a list of beneficial work practices for keyboard operators. Again, it is very important to read and understand the instructions. This sample looks very complicated, but when you practice a lot and you already learn the pattern, it would be easier for you to locate the answers. The next one is the labeling, flowcharts, or other kinds of diagram. This labeling task is linked to a text in the test about how animals use electric signals to detect location. Now, you have to label the diagram. And again, the instruction says, choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. The next one is identifying the writer's claims or views. This task is linked to a text in the test describing different kinds of short business courses. In this example, you are going to identify if the statement is true, false, or not given. Write true if the statement agrees with the information. Write false if the statement contradicts the information. And write not given if there is no information stated about the topic. The last one is identifying information. This task is linked to a text in the test describing different kinds of calisthenic physical training activities. Calisthenics are gymnastic exercises to achieve bodily fitness and grace of movement. In this example, the text has 8 paragraphs labeled A to H. And you are going to locate which paragraph contains the following information. So you have to write the correct letter from A to H in boxes, for example, 29 to 35 on your answer sheet. This part is so mind-boggling, so you really have to pay much attention. And try to pick some keywords that would lead you to the best answer. At this point, I'm going to give you some tips to remember. Like in the listening test, reading questions are given in groups. You will see the questions before or after the passage they belong to. The next one is manage your time. For example, there are 4 passages. Give 15 minutes for each passage. And try to use this technique. Use 13 minutes to answer and 2 minutes to write in the answer sheet. If you didn't finish a passage on time, move on to the next one. Go back later. Just mark the number with this symbol. To easily locate which numbers don't have answers yet. Make sure that you didn't forget to answer any question. You have to double check. Another tip is don't read everything. Just scan. This is the biggest mistake. To start the test by reading the whole passage. Scan quickly through the text. Don't try to understand every word. Just go over it and get the idea of what each paragraph is about. Another useful tip is to make a map. Get the main idea. Underline the words in the paragraph that explains the main idea. Before taking the test, it's really important to learn the rules. Know the style of the test. Be familiar with the word limit. One question needs only one answer. Another tip to follow is that don't assume that you know the answer. Search for it in the passage. You have to stick to the facts as they are written in the paragraph. Forget all about your personal knowledge and experience. Gather some samples of reading practice tests so that you will be more familiar with it. Finish the reading practice test and then check your answers according to the answer key. Pay attention to those numbers you've got wrong, not those you've got right. By doing this, you will be guided on what to avoid. Then practice copying your answers to the answer sheet so that you will know how it feels like writing on those given spaces. And if you have ample time to prepare and review, I would recommend you to practice both the academic and the general training module tests. And before I end this video, I'd like to show you the sample of the reading test answer sheet. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time!